Hi guys, Nerdy Perkins here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia, Episode 8, Bakugo's Start Line. So this was a pretty good episode. I'll run down the episode really quickly. We start with the analysis of, well, a little bit of flashback and recap, but then it gets into analysis of the first match, where Momo very astutely kind of says, well, they kind of took advantage of the fact that this was a test because they just, both Bakugo and Deku just went all out because they knew that no one was going to necessarily get hurt because they're doing these massive attacks. Which like All Might's like, yeah, well, that's better put than I could have, or at least she said more than I would have. So then we get Team B going, which is Shoto and Mizu on the hero side, and Ojiro and Toru, I think I'm saying that right, who are the guy with the tail and the invisible girl, are the two villains. And Shoto there. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. He just gets it done really quickly by just freezing the entire building, walking up and touching the bomb. And yeah, so I don't think we had actually seen his power until now. So he has heat and ice powers. I'll get more into that after I do the rundown. We then get a montage of the rest of the class going, and they kind of take the opportunity to kind of show off a bunch of their abilities. Then we have Deku in the nurse's office with a little exchange between her and All Might, and All Might reveals that only, I think, 3 people other than himself and Deku know about his all-for-one power being able to be passed down, or at least like that he knows of. And then we get Deku returning to the classroom, where we get a name dump of everyone, or almost everyone, most of the people. And finally we get the scene at the end with Deku pledging to one day surpass Kacchan with his own strength and his own abilities. So that's pretty cool. And then we also get a little teaser at the very end of some of the villains that are going to be introduced here pretty soon. So overall, I really like this episode. It was mostly used as, like I said, kind of, info dump isn't necessarily the right term, but that's basically what it is. We were learning about the classes' quirks and their names throughout the episode. This episode also functioned as a way of kind of humbling Bakugo. He definitely needed it, and we get to see him kind of realize that he is not the best, and he doesn't have like the most powerful quirk as he previously thought and had been like built up to have. So it's nice. It's good to get that have his character kind of be put in his place, just because he's almost unbearable before this, and you know, it's changing a character doesn't happen overnight, so he's probably probably hasn't been humbled enough that he's not a jerk or anything like that, but we do at least get to see some character development from him, which is really nice. We see Momo's analysis, which is very astute, and we get the idea that she's kind of an intellectual rival to Deku. She's actually probably smarter than Deku is planning-wise, at least at the moment. At least, well, maybe not planning-wise, but at least analytically. So that's going to be interesting to see. So we get to see a lot of the characters' quirks. And pardon me if I'm pronouncing the names incorrectly. We have, is that an A or a U? My handwriting sucks. Fum. Alright, so we have Fuma Cage, who is the guy with the, like, bird head. We see that he has a, like, shadow-like ability, because we have his claws coming out of his back when he steps into the shadows. He has probably one of my favorite quirks, which we will see more of, I'm sure, in the near future. We have Hanada, who has the tape roller arms, which are very interesting. I've always found that quirk kind of interesting in a, like, weirdly, like, cool way. We have Mezzo, who has the he's like the octopus guy. He has like the 6 arms in his he can kind of transform them into various parts of his body. Like, he can use them as ears or mouth. So he is an interesting quirk that I'm sure will have, like, some interesting uses throughout the series. We have Mina, who produces acid. I love Mina. She's probably my favorite girl character. I love her character design and her costume. We have Shuto, however you say it, with his fire and ice abilities. They don't really get into it here, and this isn't too much of a spoiler, but basically, his body is split down in half, so half of it can produce ice and freezing, and half of it can produce heat. And it's really cool how that functions, and how we learn how, like, he uses them to kind of regulate himself and regulate his body when he's using both powers. It's very cool. Another one that's just notable out of this is Denki. He has electric powers. All we see is him, like, producing sparks in his hand, but I like his quirk as well. It has an interesting drawback, as we'll find out here soon. But yeah, then we just get that teaser at the end of the villains to come, and I love the voice for the hand guy, the guy with all the hands all over his body. I was expecting it maybe to be a little deeper, but I did like that it was a bit more, like, kind of higher pitched and, like, a little more, like, I don't quite know how to put it, but it's just, it's not what I was expecting, but I ended up really liking it. So that'll be interesting to see. It looks like, based off the preview, he may be popping up in the next episode. So that'll be really cool. That's about it for now, guys. Let's see. I would give this like a 3.5, maybe 4 at most. It was cool, but it was, you know, it's definitely slowed down from the last chapter. And like I said before, it is a bit of an info dump when it comes to showing off the characters' quirks and names, which both are very much needed, but, you know, it just slows it down a little bit, which, not complaining too much about that. Yeah, like I said, I think like a 3.5. So not bad, about average. Hopefully it'll be picking up here again in the next couple episodes. Yeah, that's it for now, guys. If you like the video, you can give it a like. You can subscribe to my channel for more My Hero Academia anime and manga content. And also I do a lot of One Piece if you're into that as well. You can find me on Twitter at nerdy_Perkins and some other places that are down in the description below. And let me think. Yeah, that's it for the moment, guys. Until next time, stay nerdy.